Hi everyone, it's Andy here. So for all my 20 massive subscribers, you're all in for a treat this weekend. First round of Club 100 sprints, and I thought I might as well try and give a bit of a video, what's the word, like a vlog. Hate the sound of my own voice. My editing skills are terrible, so don't really know where to look, feel awkward, but I thought I might as well try and give it a go. So that I can try and share with everyone what it's like. Now, a bit of intro. I done Club 100 sprints in the heavyweights, class 3 last year and half of the year before that, and I managed to gain myself into an upgrade into class 2 this year. And being the fat, overweight, middle-aged man that I am, I need all the help that I can get. I've had no tuition before. So this year I'm taking the opportunity of about 6 rounds for this year to take up some opportunity with tuition with Sam Dimlow. He's one of the testers here, but he's also a very good racing driver as well. So I'm here on a Saturday afternoon, which they normally do the SP60 and enduro races, but they do an open testing in the afternoon. Sunday sprints, whoever don't know, is normally either in the morning or the afternoon, alternating between lightweights and heavyweights. But I want to take this opportunity now to have half an hour testing with someone that knows what they're doing, so that I can work out what I'm not doing or doing incorrectly. I could probably do with every bit of help that I can get. So I am looking forward to it. I will try and give a bit of a brief overview of how the day went and what's enclosed with that tuition pack, I suppose, if you want to call it. But yeah, looking forward to it. Don't really know what else to say, so I'll keep you posted. Right, so after I've just blabbered on for a good 2 minutes, this is part of my testing or tuition that was on Saturday. Unfortunately, the minute I got out there, it started raining and it was on and off. So what normally Sam wants to do is you go out, he follows you around for a few laps, he then overtakes you, and then you get to follow him, and then you then pull into the pits, have a chat to see where we can improve things, and then head back out. So this footage here is actually when we had done that first bit of swapping over and then pulling into the pits, and he just wanted to give me a bit more advice. So on the time when we did discuss what I could massively improve on, there was 2 areas. One was just coming into the right-hander just before you go up to Garda, I think. So you come down here and do a left, and he told me to scrub off a bit more time here and get on the gas a lot more earlier. On that bend there is a drainage drain where I was starting to accelerate after it, and I needed to be way more on the gas. And coming up to this hill, this left-hander, I was trying to hit that apex there that we just went past as hard as I physically could, and it was jumping off the curb and then running wide, scrubbing more time off, and I was really slow coming up to T1. So they were the first 2 positions that I really needed to try and improve on. If you look across the whole day on the sprints and actually through testing, I shaved off 0.2 of a second by just those 2 corners, so it was really good. And if you try and see my footwork, I'm braking here a bit more just to try and settle the car, and then I'm much more on the gas earlier as opposed to what I was doing before. Then you see Sam just swaps around for me, and I basically try to see if I'm actually doing it correctly. So coming up the hill was a lot more smoother by not hitting that curb. And also it just started to stop raining now as well, so you can end up trying to find more grip. It was much more dry, but because it is an open test and people were doing their evaluations as well, people were spinning just trying to find the grip. It did end up drying up, probably about over a 30-minute course, maybe the last 8 to 10 minutes. It was fairly dry where you can really go guns blazing. So I actually really enjoyed the practice firstly, and also the tuition, and it did actually massively help me out when it came up into the race day. So really positive approach. I did enjoy what how Sam's approach is to stuff. I think it's useful more for me. He doesn't go into corners, you know, sliding backwards everywhere and managing to hold it. It's maybe a little bit more aligned to maybe most of the drivers, I don't know, maybe some of the drivers' style, especially my style, where I'm probably really far back and not experienced, so just trying to get the right braking moments and the acceleration times, and then also the lines is going to be more important for me. Sam is a lot lighter than me as well, so it was actually quite difficult to keep up. He's probably still going at half pace, but coming down this hill was where I really benefited, and it showed in the sprints. I wasn't getting undertaken as much, and I was trying to keep up with people in front, so that was useful. And especially coming up this hill, avoiding that curb on Cafe Corner was a massive help, and I managed to just keep the steering a lot more straighter and smoother and picked up more pace down there, so that was good. I'm going to shut up now, and you can watch the rest of the footage, and then I'll jump towards my race days. Hi everyone, so that's testing done. First round of tuition done as well. My initial impressions is I loved it. You know, I've done testing before quite a lot, but you're just trying to go by what your own advice is, and it's apparent that my advice is just absolutely shit. So it's much more better to get someone that knows what they're doing, give you a bit of advice. So just in short, we went out, he followed me round, got warmed up. He then purposely overtook me to then get in front so that I could try and follow his lines. We then come back in after about 10 minutes, had a chat, worked out what corners I could gain the best time, and it was more about braking, positioning, kart positioning to then drive more forward, and just general racecraft. So learning how to overtake, when to overtake, and when's a good opportunity to. So it's really good. And then after that, we went back out, tried to replicate what advice he gave me, and I managed to do that to the best of my ability, and he confirmed that I was doing it as well, so that was quite nice. And then we had a good 10-15 minute chat after the session, so I was really happy with doing that. I've got some things to take away on. My racing weight is 99.8 kilos, so I am a fat ever for it. So really got to try and work towards getting that down in order for me to improve. But I just feel that if I can get my racecraft better at this weight, I'm going to be much more improved when I do lose the weight. So we've got race day tomorrow. I'm going to head home, chill out, sort out my kit, and then get ready for the drive again down here tomorrow. Cheers, guys. Right, it's race day. Once again, I'm about 2 days early for it. I've got about I've got about an hour and a half till testing, but till registration. But I like coming in here anyway and just making the most of the day, watching the racing, see how people are doing. It's absolutely pissed it down as well on the way down here, so the track's actually quite wet. Weather conditions today are expected to be actually all right. I think there's a bit of a wet spell at 1 o'clock. We won't be racing then. I'm not in the first heat, so hopefully it will dry out a bit for me when it comes to it. This is the first round at Buckmore Park for the heavyweight sprints. I have no expectations of today. If you don't know, with Club 100, if you're new or novice, so your first year or second year, you start off in class 3, which is at the back, you know, the back third of the pack. That's where you start every heat. When you go up to class 2 and 1, you end up being right in the mix of it, to be fair. So you can be pole. I think one of the heats I'm third, so that's second row. I have no expectations, especially with my weight at the moment, so I'm just going to go out and try and replicate the good advice that Sam gave me yesterday. Should be good, looking forward to it. I have no expectations this time round. I'm just going to roll with it and see what the day comes, and just to try and get a bit more experience of running more in the mix of the pack. Try not to get shunted off. Alright, cheers, see you soon. Right, this is my first race of the day. This was actually heat 3. I was starting P7, so I was on the inside, which is good. And I'm not going to lie, I was a bit anxious actually starting at the front, so I just really wanted to stay out of trouble, but not lose too many places. The first few laps of heats are always a bit carnage, I would say, while people are trying to wrestle for a good position, and it is sprints, right? So you need to try and get the best out of out of your position and circumstances on every second you can have. I know I lost a few places here, I think, but I managed to settle down, and just to try and keep ahead, I went massively wide there actually. Maybe the tyres were a bit cold, or I was a bit too fruitful coming down that hill. Loads of people were wrestling up ahead. This chap overtook me very easily, and I don't remember this bloke's name, but I know by the back of his car he's a really good racer. On the back of his car too, he's a really good racer. I think he's been doing it for quite a long time, so I can accept the fact that people are going to overtake me. It's just to try and find my groove really, and also make sure that I keep in mind what I learned yesterday, because that's also going to help me improve my racecraft, etc. But with sprints, sometimes you've got to defend, so you've got to go outside of the line as well, so it can be a bit too difficult to do so. Coming down the hill, I was actually quite good, to be fair, and looking at my feet work, I was doing what Sam had told me to do, you know, settle the cart down, be a bit slower on entry, and then use the accelerator a lot earlier. And coming up this hill, trying to be a bit smooth and not clatter that curb, looks like I managed to do that as well. So managed to settle down into this race okay. My idea here was just to try and keep up with the person in front. There's no way I was ever going to be able to overtake them, but if I could just try and keep in the train, then that would be much more useful for me. And up ahead there's, in front of this bloke, there's Damien that's, I don't actually know his name, to be honest. Again, you end up knowing by the kart suits and what designs they've got on, but he's a good racer and he's actually really good at defending as well, so I knew if I could just try and keep up with them, I'd be happy as anything. Unfortunately, had a bit of a spin there as well, so that's probably helped me gain a place. And I now just need to try and replicate what I was doing in the previous laps while I was trying to keep up with the chap in the front. I think looking behind me there wasn't anyone very close, so I think now I'm sitting in about 6th place, so you know I was happy with that, to be honest, and I now just need to try and bash out some of the laps to get towards the end. I'll catch up with you shortly because I'm probably doing that. Right, I've fast forward towards the last lap because during the middle of the race I just settled down. I weren't catching up with the people ahead. I don't think there was too many people behind me. I did get overtaken twice, which again I was still happy with that. I can't complain. There's always going to be people faster than me, but there was a good opportunity just after Garda to have a last minute run up past Cafe Corner and then to the checkered flag. So normally my experience would mean that I probably would back out of it, but I just tried going through it this time and it did work out well. I got a bit of a nudge by someone still trying to get onto the racing line. If you see here, these two chaps have run wide and then they drift out right, so it gives me an opportunity to go up the inside. And I've got a bit more pace, it clips me there, and then I managed to get a run up to it. Now, with penalties, I think I was about 6th still, but with penalties I managed to finish 3rd, so I was well happy. Right, heat 6, this is a bit of a carnage heat, to be fair. There was a massive shunt coming down here, and well, there's a few good people that got taken out of the race, not on purpose, it wasn't their own doing. This is after the 2nd retake that we had, so I'm just still trying to hug the right. I believe I started 9th, maybe, something like that. Again, plenty of pushing, shoving, trying to fight for position for the first 2 laps. I stupidly went on the right hand side here, so I just got wiped out. People coming on the inside, got pushed out a bit and still tried to find some place here. And here, I don't know what happened, but I'm nutted in, but managed to spin onto the grass and carry on. But I didn't know what happened. I feel like I stayed out of it. It wasn't my own fault for nudging that bloke in the middle of the track, but still managed to avoid it to keep on going. And after that, there was a safety lap for about 70%. So I just finished on that race there, and that was it, because that's where I finished. Where did I finish? I finished 8th in the end, so went up 1. So that's okay. I was quite pleased with that. And now we're just moving on to my final heat, which was heat 7. Heat 7, I was no, not heat 7. What the hell am I talking about? Heat 12 I was in, and for me, I was starting in 3rd, so 2nd row on the inside. This is the furthest I've ever started up the pack, so I was actually a bit cacky myself, I'm not going to lie. Was inexperienced, didn't know what to do. The only thing that I knew that I was going to have was people come up behind, knowing that they're faster, and just hopeful that they would just overtake me in a more natural manner, as opposed to, you know, inexperienced people bumping you out the way. So I was expected not to fight for the front, but I still wanted to just capitalise on being a bit further up ahead, and then therefore hopefully finish ahead. So you've got VJ up ahead, which is a good driver as well. I think he's bang on the weight limit as well, so I knew he was going to get away, so I just tried keeping towards the inside of T1 and 2. Tyres are cold, so I drifted out wide there. Some chap I think comes on the inside, and I'm on the outside here, so I've really messed that up. I should have really stayed on the inside. A few people come past, and now I'm just trying to stay a bit central. Did get bumped out of the way there, didn't know who it was, but tried to carry on going, and now I'm actually quite far away from P3, so I've dropped 1 place, so I don't mind that, but in the back of my head I know that people are going to be coming through. I still tried looking forward, trying to mirror what I got told in the tuition and what I know already. Tyres are a bit cold here, and it is getting to probably about 4:30, 4:45 in the evening now, so I knew that the track was getting a bit colder, and therefore that might take a little longer to warm up the tyres, so to speak, but it hadn't rained, so I was happy with that. There's a few people arguing up ahead of me, and all I'm trying to do is just filter and stay consistent and stay with the person in front of me, because they're bound to be faster than me. The percentage is against me in C2 and C1 at the moment. The majority of people are going to be faster because they're going to be more experienced and know what they're doing. Again, still getting my confidence coming down this hill into the right hander, and I do feel like I'd really managed to complete what Sam had told me to do. I might have been able to run up the inside of there, but it would have been a bit of a nudge as well, which is not the type of driver that I am, I suppose. Apart from giving him a bump up here, but giving people a run up the hill ain't too bad when they're in front of you, because you pick up some pace, don't you? So again, just trying to still carry on with the work that I was doing. I felt I was quite comfortable in 4th here as well. Back in my head, I knew people was going to be behind me, but I just thought if I just stay consistent in front of the person here, as I say consistent, I've run too deep, but I think I did get pushed out of here. Now, going back to people that are going to be more experienced on me, you see Lindley and Boz, they're always going to be faster than me because they've been doing it for such a long time, and I think they're C1 drivers now as well. So in the back of my head, I thought, well, I'll just try and keep up with them. If I try and keep up with them, I might be able to learn something, and I did to some extent, and I managed to stay with it. Was getting bumped around behind me here as well, and Sam Bensley come through. He's also quite a fast driver as well. He followed me through the ranks with C3, but done C2 last year. So I was happy that he had gone ahead, and I can still accept that he's faster and lighter as well. I think his lap times were 46.3s or something like that in testing, and I'm doing 47, early 47, so I can understand that. I'm going to skip towards the last couple of laps now. Apart from this squabbling, look at this, 3 wide. So we get towards the end of the race now, and there's a good overtake that I've done. I think Sam gave me space as well coming up to Cafe Corner, which helped me. But this is now coming up to the end of the heat as well. So I just want to say I hope you enjoyed me mumbling and grumbling along. I'll try and do another one for the next heat, but I'll just leave it with here. Sam was side by side here, and I did give him room. I might have been ahead a little bit, But being a good driver and aware of what he is and who he's racing against, he let me go through, or maybe pulled out of it. I'm sure he probably could have still committed, but I wouldn't have done the same to him. So it's quite nice knowing that some drivers are fair in that manner. He just managed to run too deep into Garda, which is very unlike him, and he said he weren't too sure about there as well. I didn't bother doing the finals because it was dark. I started about 27th. I did get into the A final, which was brilliant. I qualified straight away for that. Started about 22nd. I think I finished 24th, but I was just happy just for a bit of experience and running around there. So overall, it was a really good weekend. I'm really looking forward to Shennington, which is in about 4 weeks' time. I've got some more tuition booked up there. Never been there, so I'm really looking forward to getting some lessons and education from Sam again. Hope you enjoyed it. Take care.